Hello, ladies and gentlemen. US Chess Championship game, or rather round 4. One game to show you. An absolutely brilliant game from none other than Hans Niemann. With this win, he's going to put himself in contention. But did he win? And more importantly, how did he? Sam Shankland opened with d4, knight to f6, c4. And what we got was a Nimso Indian defense. The most critical test of White's opening here, and obviously not allowing them to play e4. And it's always interesting when players allow this because they obviously come prepared. So we get e3, short castles, bishop to d3, d5, c takes d5, e takes d5, and now a3. Bishop to d6. You might say, wait, why wasn't this like a waste of time? No, because you've got white to develop a bit suboptimally. This bishop is blocked in, and you're actually pretty happy with everything, and you've still got c5 and things like that. So we get queen to c2, knight to a6, which looks strange, but you might play c6, and then the knight will go then to c7, knight to f3, c5, short castles, and now c4, pushing the bishop back, and now look at that, knight to c7, a4, just taking space, not allowing this knight in, obviously not right away because it would be taken, I can see that, but just taking space on the queen side, not allowing b5, which could potentially have been one of black's major plans, but now knight to a6, going back. When this pawn went forward, it no longer controls the square, I can just plonk my knight there. So b3, striking at the structure, knight to b4, queen drops back, I capture, queen takes, and look at that, bishop to f5, just developing. But now, which position would you prefer? The engine thinks it's level. How does this bishop get out? I suppose you can go here and try and take, right? But I think black's pieces are just more active, and you would start to favor black's position just a little bit. So we get a5, rook to c8, putting pressure, bishop to d2, and now a6 from Hans Niemann. And he's worse. For one move only, and it looks impossible, but it's not. Knight to b5. You may not understand that move, but it is so beautiful. What happens if you take? Bishop takes b4. You get back and you get this dash structure. Very simple. And then obviously takes, queen takes. And this is just completely dreadful for the black pieces. So a6, this incredible move here, opening the threat of the bishop, attacking the knight. Incredible idea. It gets missed though. g3. g3. And now Hans can play queen e7, rook fc1, rook c7, and very quickly he can double, and now he is better. And queen b2 is not helping matters, and now there is a lot of winning moves, but one crashing move, knight to c2. Again, a move that looks impossible, because you might want to sack the rook for the two pieces, but this pin becomes such a huge problem. So for example, if takes, queen takes, you probably win here with bishop to b4. And the pin is the problem. So you can't even sacrifice the rook. Knight to c2 is an incredible move. But ladies and gentlemen, it just gets better. Rook takes c4. We get this. But look at that. You don't take the bishop, you drop the knight back. Now the bishop retreats, and we take, and bishop to g4, f5. Bishop to e2, and everything. Oh, I hope you didn't hear the notification. I'm sorry about that. Bishop to e2, and black's position is just singing. Everything is flowing forward, and white just can't hold it all together. h5 comes, a little bit of a reprieve, but the reprieves are going to end, ladies and gentlemen. Bishop takes h5, king to g7. Was that pawn worth grabbing? Because, hello, I've dominated everything on the queen side. I'm up an exchange, and I'm going to use it. And I'm going to come now and switch the plan to fight on the king side. Bishop to d1, rook h8, h4, holding together, rook to c6. I'll move the bishop out the way, and I will come here, and everything will fall apart. Knight takes e4, f takes e4. Now look at that, the bishop, this pawn is controlling f3, which might have been useful, but you had to remove this bishop, because it was controlling everything. Rook b1 is no good. Here Hans misses a win. He wins simply with bishop takes g3, which might be difficult to see. Is it bishop takes g3? Yeah, bishop takes g3, f takes g3, and now rook takes h4. All win. Because you can't take. Because, yeah, rook g6 is like mate in 6. So, yeah. Bishop takes g3 is the winning. Instead he plays rook takes h4, which allows an incredible move. It's the simplest move, g takes h4, and it's a draw. But you have to be precise. Queen takes h4, one holding move. King to f1. And now you have to find this move. An insane move from Hans Niemann. Bishop to g3. And again, there's one holding move, and you have to find it, and it's bishop to e1. Rook to f6. Hans Niemann's down pieces, right? He's down a bishop. He's now down a bishop. He's got pawns for it, but he's going for the king. And I don't know how you hold on to this position. You might say, wait, hang on. Why can't I just take this? Because you lose. You lose. I hope you realize this. Queen to h1 wins most everything, and then, rook f6 coming in as well. So absolutely you cannot take the bishop, just to be clear. So bishop to e1 was the only holding move. Rook here, queen to c2, queen to h1, check, forcing the king up, and now queen to g2, king must run, king runs, and now we must take. Bishop takes e2, and here, just another beautiful move. You might think bishop takes bishop, right? Which comes with check, and then you can slide the rook in here. No, 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 no. Bishop takes e3. And ladies and gentlemen, you cannot take that. You take it, you get mated. Just here. Queen g5, mate. So you absolutely cannot take that bishop. King to d1 now is the only holding move. And despite Hans Niemann playing two brilliant moves, he's still not winning. He's better, but he's not winning. And he's down on time. Queen to g1. And now, once again, Sam Shankland must find the only holding move. He must play rook takes b7. Which seems strange, but you're getting the rook out of the way. So there's not all these skewers. And you are going to win a pawn. And you're going to try and somehow create a bit of counterplay and get the rook in. You have to activate your pieces. Instead of that, plays queen to c8. And now you can see Hans Niemann is clearly winning with bishop to f2. But he misses it. He falls for the threat and plays bishop to g5. Now rook takes b7, and it's a draw again. Bishop to h4, going for the pin again, but now queen comes in check. Forces the queen trade. Now rook f1. Bishop, very nice idea. You obviously can't take because of the pin, so we're going for that. We've somehow ended up in an equal endgame. Actually, white's up a pawn, and they might be up 2. Oh, no, white's up a piece for 2 pawns. Sorry. Brain fog for a moment. Rook takes e1 check, so you're no longer up a piece, and you blunder. You must play king to d2. You might say, what's the difference between the two squares? King to d2 just avoids some of the other threats. And you might say, what are the other threats? Well, king to c2, rook to e2 check is now possible, which it's not on d2. And because of that, now I can go here and guard everything. And yes, you can take, but I push. And here, check, here. and you can take my rook. I don't know why this isn't classed as a brilliant move. You can take my rook, but I promote, or you can take the pawn. Check, king slides over, take, take. And this is just completely winning for Hans Niemann as he survives and goes on to comfortably convert this endgame. Very beautifully as well. So just a beautiful attacking game, and like most attacking games, he ends it by converting an endgame. Just a beautiful, beautiful game from Hans Niemann. 2 brilliant moves, a bunch of moves where he found the only winning move. He just popped off in this game, and it was truly, truly something to behold. In terms of the standings, let's have a look at the standings. So that was the only decisive game in round 4. So the standings currently are Wesley So still leading on 3 points. Then there are now 3 players tied for second: Fabiano Caruana, Lavan Aronian, and Hans Niemann. In terms of the women's section, as always, it was very, very interesting games. Lots of results. There was one draw. One draw. Jennifer Yu defeat Irina Crush. Rose Atwell defeated Tusa. Anna Sagarsian defeated Megan. The only draw was Carissa Yip versus Alice Lee. A win for Anna versus Nasi. A win for Tatev versus Talia. So we've got Anna M. Sagarsian, who's a clear point ahead on 3.5. We have 3 players again tied for second, but a whole point behind. That being Anna Zatowski, Nasi, and Alice Lee. A couple of players on 2. A couple of players by 2. I mean, there's 4 players on 2, 2 players on 1.5, and 2 players trailing with 1 point in what is such a crazy section. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you didn't, tell me why in the comments below so I can hopefully make the videos better. Thank you so much.